you like video stream for Tom what Ozzy says and then post what he actually said.
That's why when he gets on there, he tries to be careful what he says, because he knows that theist will flip it around and try to use it as a weapon. Or even the atheist will, and use his name behind it.
And then I start thinking, Matt can't be serious. This cannot be. He can't be. This must be one big troll.
It's a fucking battlefield to him, JJ. Like him and John, James, all these people. This is just one big smoky, fucking crater-filled battle.
Can't be a real thing.
Well, I guess with Matt, do you just take it that he's just playing around, and just treat it that way, just as a laugh? But he wants to have it. He wants to have it both ways. Like he's sort of partly saying, I think, that it's just a joke, but really he does also believe it and use it that way to troll.
Do you guys know this creepy individual who back-channeled me? Let me give you their...
Yeah.
His name
James, have you been here the whole time?
His name is what?
I just got back.
His name is what?
His name is Oscar. Look out for number 1.
No.
He started off by, am I blocked in your room? Then he goes, ask Darnini Poo of him about ghosting Patrick Stefan. And then he goes into a big long thing with dates.
I don't know who those people are.
And then he said he is dominating you like he was your pimp. He's an atheist. You should be quiet.
Okay, that's fine. We don't know him, James. But what I do want to know is, did you understand that you were misinterpreting what Ozzy was saying?
No, Ozzy agreed with me, and me and Ozzy came to agreement.
Give me your money, people.
What was the agreement?
Yeah, I want to hear that.
The agreement was up front that if you ask somebody for justification on a presupposition, that was ludicrous. I asked him several times, if you go into a precept room and you ask them to justify their presupposition, that was ludicrous.
Well, we agree with this.
Ozzy said yes.
Okay, so since you're saying that, James, do you think that Matt Yester isn't saying that his belief in God is justified?
No, that's another thing. I'm doing an internal critique when I talk to Ozzy.
No, just answer the question. Are Darth and Matt Yester saying that their belief in God is unjustified?
No, because they believe there's also evidential arguments.
They use tag to try to justify God.
It's not like they only have one argument.
But they use tag to try to justify God.
Well, then it's not a presupposition for them. They have multiple lines of attack and arguments that...
Well, you're not asking them, hey, Darth, what is your thoughts on the evidence for the kalam or the evidence for contingency? You're going in and you're going, why is God the justification for all intelligibility and such and such?
Yeah, that's with regards to premise 1, which Ozzy said that's a perfectly legitimate question and it's not insane to ask.
Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't say that.
What's the reason why I ought hold to that presupposition?
Yeah, he didn't say that to me or agreed that I didn't hear that at all.
That was yesterday. So he's look. I'm just gonna tell you what he said, right? Yesterday he said when it comes to like premise 1, I think his words were even, and that's a premise. It's not a presupposition, so it's perfectly legitimate to ask what the argument is for that, the support for premise 1 being something like God is the necessary condition for intelligibility.
Yeah, I don't know what all he said yesterday. I only know what he said.
I told you. I'm not telling you. I'm telling you. That's what he said.
If he said that, then it sounds like he's in conflict with what he told me today.
Oh.
Not at all. Not even close.
The conflict. Why are you so invested in this? Like, I don't understand. Seems like you're trying really hard. Matt Adams, too.
I think it's a good point of inconsistency, and so people need to address it. Yes, Judge, I can hear you. I got time for one more thing, then I got to go to another room that I'm being requested in.
Okay.
Right, so there's two things, right? You can presuppose that God exists. You can make a different presupposition that God is necessary for blah, 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 blah. Right?
Well, that's not a presupposition if it's premise one, right?
I'm just saying those
That
are two
would
different
be,
presuppositions.
That would be
If you're
presupposition,
offering it-
and a presupposition in the sense that it's not justified, or See, I'm getting really sick of this like constant equivocation between presuppose as like I have no justification, and presuppose as I'm going to posit this as an explanation. So I'm just getting really tired. Can you guys all stop fucking doing it?
Well, Ozzy actually addressed
Please.
this.
Yeah, but you're making things worse when you do it.
I don't think so.
This is what Matt wants. He wants his infighting.
We're not infighting though. We're arguing about the like ambiguity in the wording. It's not infighting. We all agree on this fucking issue.
Yeah, I guess it's just being clear that if you presuppose something and you're saying that's unjustified, that's what we mean by presupposition, that asking for a justification for that is just nonsense, right? But the argument of...
Yeah, everyone agrees with that.
Yeah. The argument of tag, when somebody asks what's the justification as to why I should grant P1, that's perfectly fine. Because that's not a presupposition.
Argument comes around to justify the presupposition. It's not.
Did you say justify presuppositions? What sense are you talking about now?
Whoa. I'm talking about tag, right? They circle it around to try and justify what they claim is a presupposition. That just means it's not a presupposition,
That means-
a proper one.
Means that they're insane.
Yes.
Just as we all agree, it would be insane, it would be dumb to ask a person who presupposes God in the sense that it's not justified and not that they're just positing in the same sense that someone would ask a person who presupposes God to justify that presupposition in the sense that I outlined. Same would be true for a Christian who tries to justify their presupposition. That would be stupid too.
That's what I thought I just said.
Still listening, James? Well, we'll get to it eventually.
I thought he said he was listening to some.
I don't understand why he's being so like adamant about this. I mean, maybe it's because he made a YouTube video about it. I saw, like he's maybe just doesn't want to like admit that he. I'm just completely speculating. I don't know. I mean, you got the guy right here is telling you, like, when I said that I meant this. I was like, I don't understand what the insistence on telling someone, no, you didn't mean that or something. What's going on?
I'm not really quite sure what the Christian, what Matt or James is trying to say, really. Because so far as I understand, when Matt quoted Ozzy, like, I agreed with all of it. So did you and every other atheist in the room, right? And it's just, like, really bizarre. Is it that they're just, like, too dumb to really track? Because I think they're just taking bits and pieces and trying to spin it.
I don't know.
It's really simple. All he did was stop, and Matt Adams too, stop listening when Ozzy said you can't have somebody justify a presupposition. Oh, done. We're done. We're good. Done. That's it.
Right. And so So then you just can't justify the tag argument if it's presupposed in the way that you can't justify it, right?
Well, where did they go?
It's just so bizarre how so often they can be so wrong and yet so confident.
It's one of the hallmarks of Christianity, I think.
So, yeah, it's a hallmark of dogmatism. You know, the confidence, the unjustified confidence is with faith, right?
I just listened to a replay. Some guy goes in the room. He's like, God, I'll say to your face, stop slander. Come on, you can do something, big boy. It was really funny.
Well, just listen to that thing with James and Darth about how he's asking about the racism, and how he responded to that whole the boots was hilarious.
Oh, my
Like he didn't address it at all. Like it was just
No, he didn't. Still
so
fucking-
blatant how he just spoke around it and just go, oh, you know, somebody was making silly comments and like, how is that addressing even just that comment? Why couldn't he just say, the reason why I said X, Y, Z is because... I haven't listened to the rest of it. I'm assuming it's just all that. It's just ultra defensive and trying to have an argument with James about the comments in context and...
Yeah.
The spear chucker comment, it wasn't, he described it as, well, these people on these islands, they're normally holding spears, and but he didn't put it in context of why he used that comment.
He was trying to have James kind of make an exhaustive case for each point on how it necessarily makes him a racist. And James kind of, not as effectively as I would like, was trying to say, listen, it's all these things that like call into question your racism. The fact that you tend to focus on black politicians and, you know, civil rights figures instead of, like, you know, white politicians. Like if he was given dissertations on just the media deifying particular people that ought not to be deified, and he was giving like a broad, you know, explanation of that, you know, that'd be one thing. But it's basically whenever the name Martin Luther King is like even uttered, he's just like ready to give every bit of you know, information from the FBI, which, you know, by the way, he wasn't particularly fond of when the FBI had, you know, supposedly information against Trump. So it's just all specific to his.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like when James asked, I don't know if James did ask, I mean, people ask him, like, why do you care so much about, you know, MLK or whatever in this sort of weird obsession fashion, right? When he gives his reasons, those aren't really his reasons, right? Like, oh, he was engaged in having sex with tons of prostitutes while drunk, whatever. Like, he doesn't care if other people are drunk or if other people have sex with prostitutes. So that's not really the reason. It's just like when you ask most of these Christians, like, why do you believe in God? And they say, oh, because the Kalam, right? It's like you don't believe the Christian God because of the fucking Kalam. Like, I don't buy that for a second.
Yeah, I wonder if Trump had been accused of sleeping with prostitutes, what his reaction would be. Be interesting. But with regard to the boot thing, he tried, the first time he's called on it, he tried to deny that he said, oh, it's a misattribution, right? And then, of course, they played Tom Sawyer.
I looked into the Martin Luther King comments a little bit more specifically, and all I could find was a bunch of like allegations that there are documents that have interviews of particular people. There isn't like, you know, any recordings. There's no, as far as I'm aware, there's no recordings of MLK actually doing anything untoward. That like.
And that's why he was so chest thumping when he and was really pushing that.
Even if you grant it, like him trying to say that the FBI watching a black preacher during the civil rights movement was virtuous is just insane.
No, he was just trying to claim that his tearing down of MLK had nothing to do with racism. It was just about his personal character, right? Which is a smokescreen.
Right, that's why I was asking, basically, why would the FBI be watching MLK during the civil rights movement other than he's some black?
Well, they watched.
It doesn't work for his case,
yeah.
is what I'm saying.
Yeah. That COINTELPRO and all that, yeah.
What sort of annoyed me is after the discussion with Darth, you know, Tom brought up how Darth was invoking, you know, necessity, right, and changing James's claim, you know, how is it that I'm necessarily racist? And Tom showed how that wasn't James's claim, and then James basically sort of pretended like he knew all the ways that Darth was being fallacious, but I don't really like that narrative at all, because, I mean, there were plenty of times where, you know, for instance, with what we just said, like the Tim the Toolman thing, where Darth said, well, what, am I supposed to stop what somebody else says? If James tracked the conversation, he would have said, well, no, it's not just, you know, what the other person said, it's what you said. But there were many instances like that which could have been a lot better. The idea that, like, he reserved himself out of pragmatic reasons is, like, just fucking false.
I think James didn't expect Darth to show up. I think so. He was kind of caught off guard a little bit.
Yeah, I thought it was a good approach from what I heard. I think James just asking the question, and it's just like an interview. It's not for me to defend the position. I'm just asking the question, and you now just provide a response to how it's not. And they shouldn't be perceived that way. And I just think from what I heard so far, Darth just didn't offer anything. Like, he did a shit job in defending his position as a perceived non-racist.
Yeah. There was, like, one question James...
You're really low, Altoid. Sorry, man.
Wait, is this better?
No.
No, you're pretty low.
1 second. Okay, is this better?
Nope.
No.
Is this better?
Nope. It sounds like you're using like the wrong mic. It sounds like you got a headset on, and you're like your mic is set to like your phone.
Well, I just disconnected my aftershocks. Now I'm on my phone. Like, both are bad.
I have that problem. Sometimes you have to like either restart your phone or turn off Bluetooth. That's the only.
Okay. Give me 1 second.
That cumulative case thing really pissed him off, huh?
Yeah, he hated.
Oh my god.
He was like, if I can tackle each of these, that's perfect.
Okay, great.
Yep, you fixed it.
So it'll be a $49.95 to.
So Matt's with Darth now, is he?
I was just gonna
There
ask
was
if there
one-
was some kind of Christian hub.
Yeah, there was one point in the questioning with James, which was like pretty funny. It was almost like you could tell in Darth's voice, like his thought right then, like, damn, like how isn't this racist, right? And just the amount of stuttering and stumbling over himself was really great, nonetheless.
There was a
I
lot of
don't
fucking
see Matt
stuttering.
Darth. Where do you see that, Venna? But Darth has Matt blocked.
Oh, no, it was posted in chat by Chupa.
Yep. He's in Darth room. Matt.
So I misread that.
I don't even understand. What? I don't even understand these words. He's in Darth room, Matt. Who? James? James is in another room, and then he says, yes, he's in Darth's room. Wait, what room? What's here? I see no room. Are you saying that there's a room that exists right now with James and Darth talking again? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that's how I read it.
Chupa, is that what you're saying? Just say yes or no, please.
I checked World
Trying to figure
News
out
and
what's going on.
Conflict, and nobody's in there. J. Robin started his own room, so I thought that maybe Darth came into that, which may have forced him out, but doesn't look like that's the case.
Okay, yeah, all right, never mind. Jesus, okay. Joking.
Now we're going to go to Alex in.
I think that Darth and a lot of people that I've heard whenever the accusations of racism come up have this very, very narrow view of racism, where like the person necessarily has to believe their race to be superior of another over another.
That whole thing. Yeah, that's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
I would bet you money that Darth probably has like a similar definition to that, like when he was in that conversation, that it had to be like just like atheism has to be the most extreme case of atheism. It also has to be racism is also always the most extreme case of racism.
Do we really need people to say that explicitly in order to look at their actions about how they talk about other races? And I mean, seriously.
No, I'm just saying
it's
that
like-
was like the standard that he insists upon other people meeting in like one anecdote.
Those conversations are always like so crazy, right? Like with the Veckel thing, I mean, the amount of mental gymnastics that John Lee went through, for instance, which was like stuff he didn't believe, obviously, right? But he just Christian solidarity, like, oh, Mariological nihilism, like epistemic uncertainty, pessimistic meta-induction, like all of this shit that, like, oh, how do you know the external world exists, let alone that this person is racist or whatever? It's just such shit. Like, I like what Josh said, which was just, like, take all of these statements and then ask yourself, which hypothesis fits this information better, that this person is a racist or not a racist, given, like, these racist statements. And if you have like quite a lot of them, like in the case of Darth, it's just like very likely that he's a racist. But I see the claim of invoking like of there must be an argument that I'm necessarily racist, otherwise I'm not racist. It's just ridiculous. Like we don't have that standard for anything else, right? It's not an axiom of logic derived, or like, sorry, a theorem of logic derived that you are a racist for you to be a fucking racist, right?
Yeah, it's like I don't know, it's like a get out of jail card saying, "Oh, look at all these supposed racial things that I'm saying." But unless I'm necessarily can be proven that I am a racist, who knows?
Exactly.
But yeah, it was just like the saggy pants thing. He immediately he's like, "Oh, James, is that do only black people wear saggy pants? Is that how could I possibly have known his race, James?"
But that's just treating everybody else as though they're so thick that they can't they can't work it out. Maybe we're all just a bit stupid.
I mean, it's just I don't think there's anything wrong with him just saying like, look, they sound like they were black. There's very and a inductive inference, right? I don't think that, right? And those identifiers might even be cultural or something like that, right? Like I think that I can oftentimes tell when someone's Asian how they talk, and there's very, very like subtle. It's almost like I don't even know exactly what I'm keying off of. I can do it pretty accurately. And I've thought about why it's the case, and I just don't know really exactly what it is. But, I mean, it might be like some sort of commonality in like, their palate or structure or, whatever. I don't think it's racist.
Yeah, and you mean like the speech?
Yeah, there's just certain pronunciations, and I think it's
Yeah.
I think it's highly influenced by like not necessarily like English as a second language. Like I'm talking about like just hearing that like growing up or something. I think it affects speech in some way. But there's also people that are like claim to have not grown up like they are, and they have this sort of affect or something like that, and they speak like perfect English. There's something there. And I'll give you a good example.
Tom is just honing in on IQ. He's pumping himself up subtly. Trying to get it, Tom, you're smart.
Hey, Tom, you know that Asians have a higher
what?
pitch.
No.
They're because of the nature of the vowel-based language. At least that's the theory. But they do have a higher incidence of perfect pitch.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I've also heard that like Asians have like larger tongues, or they have like more spuds or something like that.
Yeah, they actually have a different muscular structure in their mouth and in the jaw.
Okay, I found. All right, so I'm going to play this for you guys, and tell me what you think, because this is a perfect example, I think, of like this. Maybe you can hear what I'm talking about.
it. In my review of the Galaxy Tab SM Plus, I called it a multitasking monster, and that's even more true today. The amount of multitasking options that Samsung has built is actually very impressive. For example, you have the basic stuff like running 3 apps split across the screen with the ability to resize the windows to your liking. You can also open more apps and resizable pop-up windows that can be minimized and called upon whenever needed.
Yeah, it's but it's there.
If I heard a person, I would think, yeah, I think she might be Asian.
I hear a really interesting resonance in her what the hell the sinus resonance inequality.
Also, whoever mentioned perfect pitch, that was wrong. That just means that you're able to recognize notes, not do something with your body.
Germane to this, but you are more sensitive to precise than if you have perfect.
I think you're cutting out.
Other people would be. I was just saying you're more. A lot of people, that have perfect pitch are more sensitive to slight variations in intonation. Right?
I don't accept perfect pitch as a thing. It triggers me as a musician.
I mean, very frustrating.
Wait, if Johnny's not here, he's not online. Maybe he went to the casino.
Oh no.
Do you think so? Well, let me see if he's online.
Like, if he's not playing Zynga poker, then you know what that means.
I think he's probably gotten frustrated with how online poker's rigged. Hey, I'm mad because I'm a winning player. I'm not a losing player. I'm going to go prove it in a non-rigged place where I'm a winner at the casino. Oh my god.
He might be investing into the.
No,
slot.
he's online. He's online. He's online.
So Matt started a whole room on this Ozzy quote that he has. Amazing.
It's ridiculous, man.
Is there a noticeable difference between this mic and my other one, as far as you can tell? I don't expect anybody to have noticed.
Pretty loud. It has a lot of white noise.
Alright, let me try messing with some stuff. Is that better?
Less white noise, but you're overall quieter. You know.
What about now?
No change.
Alright, this might be it.
Nope.
Everybody quiet.
Yeah.
Matt Adams is in another room, just talking to himself. He's really hooked onto that Ozzy quote.
Does this, I've noticed. He just kind of like focuses in on one thing and then he'll spend like an entire month on it in the chat, trying to develop into an argument, which is almost never an argument.
Yeah, that's kind of his MO.
Is John Lee in the poker rooms today? I haven't even seen him online.
Yeah, he's in there. there a monkeypox vaccine?
There was a monkeypox vaccine before monkeypox dropped in the U.S., I think.
Oh.
Yeah, I remember there being some sort of criticism about like them having it all stored in, I feel like it's some like in Sweden or something like that. One of those really Norway, something like that. We had all the vaccines stored there, and like when monkeypox hit, we didn't have any sense of urgency to like ship them over here and basically defrost them. So we kind of dropped the ball on that.
I've already had monkeypox. Just let me bite you, and everybody will be okay.
They're not biting me, man.
Bite whatever I want.
No.
I think you have to bite them in the butt.
Face. I got a buddy that's day trading, just on the side hustle. He's making like 5G, or not 5Gs, like 500 a week. This is like fucking.
That's what they all say. Until they're not.
Well, he's showing me. And he's not even making his own calls. He's just fucking buying what other people are buying.
That's what Danny tried to do, and he got rinsed.
Really?
Well, at least at some point it did.
Greedy. So I mentioned John. Where's he at? Do you track him?
Yeah, he's playing poker.
Where is that page that you're using?
Are you guys still there?
Yeah, I'm just editing this James's third thing.
Yep, I'm just doing some homework.
Yeah, I need to do homework from being like.
If you get a chance, Tom, check your back channel.
You're cutting out.
Is this any better? JJ, are you there?
Hey, Tom, can I ask you a question?
Did you send me something, Xbox? Because I don't see anything there. Hello?
I don't know if he's still.
Yeah, Tom, I see. He said my club deck froze up. Let me send it to you again. Here, I send it again. It might be club deck just screwing up.
Are you there, Bob?
oppressed Christians, leaders of the world.
So first of all, you're inconsistent, Cameron.
I think the atheists are plotting something.
But probably we do need to find a balance, and I think in some traditions stop deifying, right? Losing that idolatry for things that are taking us away from serving our families and our friends. But I'll leave it there.
Can I say something? Can I add something to the discussion? It's a very good discussion.
I'd like to invite Ivy and Biscuit and then go in PTR so that everyone gets a chance and we get a little bit of order on stage. If you don't mind, Jordan, waiting a little bit. If we can try to be as concise with our words and try to go one by one in PTR order, and then we can have back and forth and question each other if you guys don't mind. Ivy, let me pass you the mic.
I got nothing to add.
Thank you, Ivy. Biscuit. You there? Lamont. Okay, let's pass it to Oli. Or is it Ole? Ole fart. Ole fart. Okay, I get it.
I'm sorry, I had stepped away. This is John, the old fart. What can you name the PTR order so I can sort of get reacclimated after this?
Yeah, so you were next. It's going to be the director, Harren Deep, Steve, Jordan, Ben, Gavin, and Charles. So let's pass it to the director.
Where they violate another person's right. That's correct, right? And so we want to be consistent, right, not inconsistent. So when we apply the right to free speech, we can do that so long as you can't yell fire in a crowded movie theater, because now you're engaging
cannot be ignored. The very fact when Hoffman says, like, his whole being resists these ideas, right? This is a really important element, and I think it has to do with human emotion.
Well, we come to the same conclusion. It's still going to be arbitrary because the reason why you value that is simply your choice. Or what I choose, let's say a group of people decide to have a society based on